What is up, duelists? Arts and Crafts here, back at it with your daily dose of Yu-Gi-Oh! Goat Format action. Today's feature match, we got Migana versus Pain123, two recurring faces here on the channel, so good to see them continuing to pluck away at the upper echelons of the Duelingbook Goat Format ladder. Both players rated in the top 200 of said ladder at the time this match was played, as always. Let's hop right into it. Looks like Pain is going to win the RPS, choose to go first, pretty standard. And they're going to lead out just with a T-set pass. So no Trinity to speak of, but still a solid opening. Not really giving away any intel. And now Migane is going to have to find out a way to deal with this. They're going to lead out with a Heavy Storm here. So risking potential chainable from Pain, but potentially has some sort of aggressive play to go for in their hand that will make up for this. So Heavy Storm, going to pop the back row. It is a Book of Moon here, so getting the nice one-for-one trade. And then this clears the way for Blade Knight to come down. So yeah, heavy, risking the chainable definitely makes sense when your follow-up play is a Blade Knight, which can potentially attack over if this is a flip monster, just negating its effect with Blade Knight's effect and making up for the potential lost card advantage. But here, just looking overall pretty solid. Megan is going to go set 3 back row as well, which will power up the Blade Knight to the full 2,000. So this is a maximum power Blade Knight, only monster on the field, plus at that 2,000 attack points. So beginning here, likely running a warrior list if they're able to enable Blade Knight so early on, which is a really strong start for them if that is the case. They're going to go straight to battle phase, attack into the set. It is a Sangan, so the Blade Knight effect to negate flips is not going to happen. Pain will be able to search up a card with this. It's going to be Sinister Serpent, interesting. So if you're Pain and you think you're playing against a warrior deck, generally Tsukuyomi would be a solid play here in order to go attack over this Blade Knight. But Serpent potentially, synchronizing better with what's in their hand. If they have like a Graceful Charity or Raigeki Break, you definitely want that Sinister coming in. Or you could already have Tsukuyomi in hand as well, in which case you have to pick a different target. But decent start here for Migana. Ooh, they have Pot of Greed here in main phase 2. So that's pretty interesting. Using it, you could have used it to try and draw into a Nobleman to deal with the set monster a little bit more cleanly, in case it was like a Sangan or something. But choosing to just hold it so that they could go down to 1 or less cards in hand to power up the Blade Knight, and choosing to use it in main phase 2. I can definitely understand doing that when you think, Blade Knight is going to answer most of the cards that Pain has set here. But at the same time, the extra 400 life points, or the extra 400 attack on Blade Knight, isn't really that important. I guess it would get it over like a Desk Koala if Pain is playing that. But out of commonly played set monsters, the jump from 1600 to 2k doesn't really actually kill you anything, like allow Blade Knight to kill anything else. So I would probably have just played the pot there in main phase 1, but choosing to just buff the Blade Knight is fine. It's kind of cute, not terrible. And now main phase 2, they're just going to fire off that pot, which is totally fine. Set another card there. Blade Knight will get powered down back to 1600, but still, decent start. You're at least applying some pressure. You were able to go up a card with this Pot of Greed, even though you weren't able to deal any damage. And we'll see if you can protect your Blade Knight and have it continue to beat in. Pain, looks like they top decked a Thunder Dragon for turn, so going to go grab a couple copies of that. That turns on Chaos, notably, getting a Light Engrave to pair with the Sangan that is a Dark. And looks like just pretty standard Chaos stuff here out of Pain. I guess remains to be seen if it's Turbo or Control. For Migana, you're definitely going to hope that it's Turbo, because Control is a much better matchup against Warrior. And then Pain has a Snatch Steal. We'll see if Migana has an out to this. We're just going to get Dust Tornado. Nice clean way of dealing with that Snatch. Totally fine. And then Pain's just going to go T-set pass. Could be that Sinister Serpent just trying to wall out the damage. Back row could be a little bit scary for Migana, but we'll see if they choose to play around it or not. We're going to normal summon Ninja Grandmaster here in main phase 1. So saying, I don't care about Torrential Tribute, I don't care about Mirror Force, I'm going to go ahead and get some damage in. Now, I guess if they set 3 last turn, then they're saying I don't really care about Heavy Storm, which means they might have a Solemn Judgment, in which case you can just Solemn the Mirror Force or the Torrential, and you're probably looking pretty good. So that's my guess why Migana is feeling confident to do these things, and Pain should probably be picking up on that as well. But adding another threat here to the board is quite nice. We're going to go to battle phase. I think you attack with the Blade Knight first here, in case it is a Gravekeeper spy. So then Ninja Grandmaster can at least pop one of them with its effect. And that's what we'll see. It is that Gravekeeper Spy, so Pain will be able to summon out another copy of it from the deck, but Ninja Grandmaster will just be able to kill it with its effect. But we have the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast out of Pain here, discarding that Serpent, so that must have been why they grabbed it, because they needed a discard outlet, or a discard fodder for their Wind Blast. And that will bounce the Ninja Grandmaster back to the top of Migena's deck, so threatening to come down next turn and continue to clear out these spies, so not dealing with the threat permanently. But it is a bit of a tempo play. Wind Blast is one of those cards, in the eternal debate of what to play in your Chaos list. Do you play Raigeki Break, or do you play Phoenix Wing Wind Blast? Wind Blast is definitely better when you're going to be the beatdown more often, because then you can take advantage of sort of the tempo plays that you're going for. But in matchups against Warrior and other aggro decks where you are the control player in the matchup, I definitely like Raigeki Break more because it deals with the threat permanently. In this case, Migena is just threatening to top deck the Ninja Grandmaster next turn and go for pretty much the same exact play. So Pain here potentially wishing that they had a Raigeki Break instead of that Wind Blast here. But it will deal with the Ninja Grandmaster at least for now. And then Migena will just go ahead and pass turn here. With still 2 back row, going to presume one of them is Solemn. And like I said, threatening to just top deck the Ninja Grandmaster next turn, clear out one of these spies. Pain here, interestingly, forgetting to grab their Sinister Serpent. Definitely something that you want to do. Normally, there was no Dust Shoot to play around here because you already were up to 4 cards in hand, so just kind of forgetting it. And now Migena here definitely gets a little bit more intel because you know this set is not Sinister Serpent because you see it in the grave. So just some things to think about when you're playing with Sinister. There are, of course, times where it's correct not to grab it, but I definitely don't think that this was one of those times, so probably just an oversight. And now top deck Ninja Grandmaster for Migena. Gonna go ahead and summon that bad boy down. Attempt to clear one of the spies. That will happen, so dealing with the first spy activation, but still a second one walling out the damage for this turn. And there's also this other set monster that, Migena could attempt to attack over with this Blade Knight still. Now, that's actually an interesting decision. Migena did not have to play the Ninja Grandmaster, because by summoning it, they turned off Blade Knight's flip negate effect, because it's no longer the only monster on the board. So choosing to, I guess it makes sense, because as Warrior, spy walls from a turbo player are like your worst nightmare. So choosing to prioritize making progress over that, rather than potentially negating whatever this flip is. And I guess that's probably fine because Magician of Faith isn't the scariest thing you'll ever see right now. Snatch Shield could be annoying, but you have a couple back row to deal with it. Book is a little bit annoying as well. But yeah, I guess my point being that there isn't too much that you would probably rather negate with the Blade Knight effect versus just ensure that you're able to clear out at least one of these spies with the Ninja Grandmaster effect. So again, I think making the right call there. And then, yeah, we're going to attack that set with the Blade Knight. It is a Magician of Faith. We'll see if Pain... You probably choose to get the Snatch Steal here. That's what we'll see. So we'll see if Migena has a second out to it, already expending 1 Dust Tornado to deal with it. We definitely could have something similar. We'll see how Pain chooses to use that Snatch Shield. We're going to get End-Phase MST here to pop one of these back row. Definitely could be chainable for Migena, but... definitely if you're Pain, you want to clear out the back row, clear out any potential answers for this Snatch Steal, because resolving it would be pretty massive. And they're going to hit a Torrential Tribute. Okay, so that's actually probably fine for Migena. Not in a situation where you want to be torrentialing, so you're probably fine trading that for the MST. And then my guess is that this last set is probably Solemn Judgment, which is a way of dealing with the Snatch Steal, albeit an expensive one. But considering how strong that Snatch will be if it resolves, you're probably just going to have to do it. Pain here, though, going to lead off with an Upstart, sure. Going to fire off that Snatch Steal. Migena is going to let that happen, so maybe not having Solemn or choosing not to use it. And now Ninja Grandmaster will go ahead and beat over the Blade Knight. Wow, okay. So Migena allowing this to happen. And then we're going to get main phase 2 Tribute Summon for Thunder Dragon, just to get that Ninja Grandmaster in the grave. Migena already had a light in the grave with that Blade Knight, so that's not the end of the world. And just making it, Ninja Grandmaster is the one thing that could kind of ruin your spy wall at this point in time. So just making sure that it's harder for Migena to really get it back on their side of the field, I think is totally fair, even if Thunder Dragon is not the strongest monster to hit the board with in the matchup. But you have those Thunder Dragons chilling in hand anyway, so you might as well use it. Once again, forgetting Sinister Serpent as well. Yeah, you were going to be at 4 cards anyway, so you should have grabbed it, but once again, not the end of the world. And then Pain is going to set a back row pass. So Migana here, their board has been completely dealt with thanks to Snatch, clear out my second monster, tribute my stolen monster for the Thunder Dragon. So they're going to have to rebuild their board here. Facing down, still a Spy, which is quite annoying now that the Ninja Grandmaster has hit the grave. Exiled Force here is a way to deal with the Spy, but it's not a very efficient one, considering... I mean, I guess it's fine, right? Because, you know, Spy on its own, a face-up Spy in defense position, I don't really consider to be worth an entire card. But considering you, like, cleanly dealt with the other one with the Ninja Grandmaster effect, it's like you were kind of up a card-ish anyway. So it's fine trading the Exiled for this. And at least now, all your opponent has is this Thunder Dragon, which you can pretty easily deal with most of the monsters in the Warrior strategy. So I think it's fine using Exiled there. And just going to pass, though, still. Exiled, of course, using your normal summon, so kind of a tempo hit, but in order to clear out this big defensive monster, I think that's totally fine. Pain here, opportunity to get in for a little bit of damage, though, with this Thunder Dragon. Or they have Delinquent Duo here. That's actually humongous. Gonna rip out both cards out of Migana's hand. Oof. And you hit Mystic Swordsman level 2 and a Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the beginning, which did not have a Dark Engrave just yet to get activated, but, you know, definitely the strongest monster in Migana's deck, so unfortunate to see that one hit the grave. Mystic Swordsman not doing too much in this scenario, but definitely one that's nice in general against Chaos Turbo. So pretty big duo resolution there. Sending Pain up an extra card and just, like, ripping out 2 pretty strong monsters from their hand. T-Drag will go hidden for 16. And yeah, Pain here, having stripped Migana of all of their cards, is now also clocking them. So really, really solid situation for them. We'll see if Migana can dig themselves out of this hole, though. Ooh, top deck Blade Knight is pretty good. That is what Warrior's built to do. Simplify the game state so that your Blade Knights are better and then win in a top deck war. So yeah, top deck Blade Knight, probably one of the best cards they could see in this scenario. Ooh, but we do have Book of Moon on the Blade Knight to set it face down. And so we'll get the delayed Thunder Dragon beat over it. So Book just trades for Blade Knight and your T-Drag stays around. So one of Migana's best top decks, pretty easily dealt with there by the Book of Moon. Pain running double Book main deck, so potentially copying or inspired by the World Championships 2024 winning deck list, which did run double Book of Moon in the main deck. And it coming in pretty clutch here to answer this Blade Knight. Pain here, we're just going to go ahead and attack. Well, we do have Mirror Force, though, so Migana had this one chilling for a while. Interesting that they chose... I mean, they could have Mirror Forced the opponent's the stolen Ninja Grandmaster to keep their Blade Knight around, but they chose not to. Here, I think you definitely have to do it to keep your Blade Knight on board, especially because Pain neglected to summon a monster in main phase 1, and once again is forgetting to grab the Sinister Serpent. But... yeah, I think Mirror Force here makes total sense. Keep your threat on the board. And then Pain can has no monster, just going to set a back row pass. Now, this would have been a really good scenario to set Sinister Serpent in phase 2 to wall out the Blade Knight damage, but Pain still forgetting that. Not to beat a dead horse, but just thinking about the times that it would have been useful to have the Sinister in hand, of course. Beginning here, Blade Knight still sticks around. It's at the full 2,000 attack points. We're going to get in. But we've got Torrential Tribute here on the Blade Knight flip summon just to get the nice 1-for-1 trade. Pretty solid. And then Migana is just going to have to set a back row pass with no monsters. So Pain here. Once again, forgetting their Sinister Serpent. Just going to set a monster pass. Sure. Migana draw pass. Yep. Pain, let's see. Finally grabbing that Sinister Serpent. Is what it is. You know, especially against Warrior, you definitely want to make sure you're grabbing it out of the grave in case they attack you with Kaiku, which is definitely a card that Warrior main decks often. So protecting it from Kaiku by grabbing it out of the grave is just good in general. We're going to get flip summon Magician of Faith here. Okay, so some pretty good options. I mean, I guess you probably... depends on what your play is. You have Chaos live. So if you want to go summon Chaos and just start really clocking your opponent, you could go MST to just clear out the back row. You could just grab Duo just for the solid +1. I think that's totally fine as well. We'll see what they choose. We're going to get MST to clear out the back row. Okay. Going to use it there. Hits a Dust Tornado. Short. Nice 1-for-1 trade. And at least now you know that any of your further plays are going to be safe. We're going to go Tribute for that second Thunder Dragon. Okay. That is totally fine. Start clocking in for 16 a turn again. With a back row to protect it, at least, because, like I was saying before, Thunder Dragon does not have the most impressive stats against Warrior, so if you're going to go for this play, you definitely want to make sure you have a way of protecting it from Warrior top deck big monster, right? Which is what they're built to do. They top deck Premature Burial, which is a big monster by proxy here. Have a choice, you probably just go for the Blade Knight, just kind of the strongest monster that you're able to summon in this scenario. We'll see if Pain, yeah, I mean, they've already used their MST, so their only instant speed or quick effect speed reaction to this would be like another discard trap, which they definitely could have, especially now that they have that Sinister Serpent in hand. But this will resolve. Migena grabs that Blade Knight, which is big enough to beat over the Thunder Dragon. We'll send it in, and that will connect. So Pain not having anything to protect their Thunder Dragon, so just kind of having to go for that, not the strongest play in the world, the Faith Tribute for T-Drag attack in. In which case, I wonder if it would have been a better play to maybe go for like the duo or something. I mean, I guess it's a 1-for-1 trade either way. So MST is probably fine. It's just you didn't really have any solid follow-up, which is sometimes can happen, right? And Migena, suddenly, you were down for the count for a while there, but now you have a big threat on the board. And like Warrior likes to do, the game state is super simplified. And now Pain is kind of on the back foot with a full power Blade Knight bearing down on them. They do at least have the Sinister Serpent in hand, which can wall the Blade Knight indefinitely if Migena does not have any extra monsters to commit to the board, which is pretty strong. Looks like we got Jar of Greed out of Pain. Sure, into Pot of Greed. Nice. Pretty solid top deck. Into Tsukuyomi. Right, so yeah, grabbing that Suk, this will very much put a stop to most of Migena's plays because Tsukuyomi is just so strong. The fact that you can't answer them the turn that they come in is not really going to matter too much because you're at 6,600 life, so you have a nice buffer, which will make Migena not really want to normal summon monsters that can get killed by Suk. And that's probably one of the best cards for Pain to see in this scenario, outside of like BLS or something, of course. But Suk can clear out this Blade Knight, continue to just grind away the card advantage, and Pain is looking to be in a very, very solid position here. Migena top decks a DD Warrior Lady, which is one of the few normal summonable Tsukuyomi-proof monsters in the deck. So right on cue, Pain thought that they had it kind of wrapped up with that Suk draw. But Migena finding a threat that's a little bit harder to deal with. And they're going to be able to beat in for 15 here. We'll see if Pain has an out to the DD Warrior Lady. Tsukuyomi, we could just get Suk plus knock. This is game 1, where Noblemen of Crossouts out of Pain are still probably in the main deck. And yeah, we're just going to see that used, clear out the way, Suk can get in for 11. And yeah, so brief period of hope there for Migena, but the old Tsukuyomi plus Nobleman of Crossout combo kind of snuffing that out, I should say. And yeah, all one-way traffic from here, most likely. Migena just going to set a back row pass. They've had one card in their in their hand for a while that hasn't done anything. You'd have to think it's got to be a dead BLS. Or no, BLS is engraved, never mind. So, interested to see. It could be like a dead Trap Dust Shoot, I guess, maybe. Migena here, Pain here. Ooh, okay, so we're just going to go, let's try and clock our opponent. Chaos Sorcerer is a 2-turn clock on its own. A normal summon Breaker or something would be nice, although you would probably summon that first. We're gonna get Chaos Sorcerer, we're going to normal summon Spy, and this is representing lethal damage. We'll see if Migena has an out to this. Mirror Force and Torrential are both already gone, so if you do, it's not going to deal with the whole board, and this could just be the end of game 1 here. And that's what we see. Yeah, so Pain, pretty textbook Turbo versus Warrior win there, just kind of absorbing all of the early pressure, and then once they ran out of gas, was able to stabilize and clock them with stuff like Thunder Dragons, Tsukuyomis, all that good stuff. Game 2, both players definitely going to be siding in a lot of stuff. These are 2 of the most played decks in the format, so their side deck is definitely going to be filled with stuff to bring in against each of them. The thing you have to worry about if you're Migena is Pain siding into a Goat Control with Scapegoat and Metamorphosis sort of side deck plan against Warrior, or are they doing the more traditional pure Turbo side deck plan of Sabira, Sakuretsu Armor, or Solemn Judgments? So you kind of have to be prepared for both of them, or just like make a judgment call and hope you get it right. So we'll see what ends up happening here. Again, at least we'll be able to go first here in game 2, which is quite nice as the more aggressive deck. And they are going to just start off with set a back row pass, which looks pretty weak, but Warrior is one of those decks where they get most of their advantage from their monsters by attacking with them. So it's often smart not to just run out a monster turn 1 and have it be a sitting duck to get answered by Pain before you ever get an attack with it in. So even if you do have monsters to play here for Migena, I can understand not using your normal summon here. Totally fine. And Warrior is generally a pretty monster-light deck anyway. It's not really a go wide, flood the board, attack with a bunch of monsters, continuously apply pressure deck like Earth Aggro might be. It's more summon one threat, maybe two if you're feeling feisty, and then protect them with all your back row sort of deck. So if you only have like one monster in your hand, I definitely would understand not running it out here and saving it until you could potentially protect it with some more stuff. Pain here, opening Thunder Dragon though, which is quite nice. Going up a little bit more than a card there. A little bit less than a card, I should say. They're going to go set a monster, set 3 back row pass. Cool. Not a bad start. Migena does have a reinforcement of the army, so going to be able to summon a monster this turn. They go search up an exiled force, so really worried about dealing with this set. Could very well be like a Gravekeeper Spy, which hitting with exiled would be pretty nice. Although, could also be like a Sangan or something like we saw game 1, in which case you'll just get minused, so potentially risky play out of Migena here. We'll see what they choose to do. Just going to go normal summon exiled, pop it, and it is a Sinister Serpent. Yeah, so advantage Pain here quite early on. Sinister Serpent is a good way to bait out things like Nobleman of Crossout, Mind Controls if Migena has them, Exiled Force activations, etc. And if they didn't have a way of dealing with it, you also always have the play of Tribute for Thunder Dragon on your next turn. So really, really solid start there. From Pain, setting the Serpent, and Migena took the bait, going for this exiled play. And now not only did they get minused because they exiled forced a Sinister Serpent, you also let Pain know that you probably don't have any other cleaner answers to set monsters, because you would most likely have run out like a Nobleman or maybe a Mindcon ahead of time and saved the Rhoda for, you know, a better, more impactful, more aggressive play. So Pain likely can just kind of set stuff with impunity at this point, if I were them. We're going to end phase Dust Eternity here as well. To deal with this card that was set since turn 1, use a Ring of Destruction, which is chainable but no targets, so Pain just getting the nice 1-for-1. And now they will be able to start their turn with no back row out of Migena, and they will be free to be able to start attacking in. Regrab that Serpent here, good to remember it. In game 2, we're just going to go normal summon Tribe Infecting Virus, which is a quite strong card against tribal decks like Warrior, right there in the name, right? But I definitely like getting aggressive here with it if it's kind of your only play. You know, if you want to get maximum value out of it, you're going to wait until you can blow up some monsters with it. But it's also good to just clock your opponent. Warrior does not really operate well when they are on the back foot. So I like putting them a little bit under pressure here, forcing them to kind of act. Yeah, so we're going to get in for 16. We got main phase 2 Jar of Greed, sure. And if you had a Jar set, you might as well just use it main phase 1 and see if you have a better threat than the Tribe. It's kind of my thought. So a little bit interesting sequencing there, but I don't think this is terrible by any means. Just gonna pass though. Okay. So Migena here has a Tsukuyomi of their own. Interesting to see that in a Warrior list, although it's definitely solid. And it can be good. You know, some Warrior decks like to side into some flip monsters of their own, like Gravekeeper Spy and Magician of Faith, in which case Tsukuyomi gets even stronger. So interesting to see here, but it's going to be brought in. It's going to be able to set down this Tribe and then potentially beat over it. Pain does have the Book of Moon, though, to flip the Tsukuyomi, and now Tribe can beat over it on the Crackback. That's not too unexpected. I would very much guess that Pain is not going to go ahead and normal summon a Tribe Infecting Virus naked without any way to protect it from monster combat. So, Migena probably knew that Pain had something up their sleeve, but you might as well, see if they can answer this, and worst case scenario, you are just trading 1-for-1, Sook for Book. Unless you have a way to answer this Tribe, in which case you actually just plus here. So Pain protecting their Tribe for now, but honestly not a terrible play for Migena, because they're at least going card advantage neutral here. They have a back row to potentially protect it here as well, so Pain might not be able to, get the full value out of their book. Let's see what they go here for, then. I'm going to flip Summon Tribe. I'm going to summon Breaker the Magical Warrior, okay? Which is a good way to pop that back row if it's like a Sakuretsu armor or something. If you have Torrential and your Migana, you probably use it here, I would have to guess. It is a Sakuretsu armor, though, so that is the perfect scenario to bring in Breaker the Magical Warrior, popping that Sakuretsu armor, and now you guarantee that you're able to, get that delayed advantage back that you lost by having to book the Tsukuyomi. But yeah, ensuring that you're able to get this attack through. Tribe will beat over the Suk. Migana will set the Breaker to prevent the damage from coming through, which is kind of nifty, but when you're this far on the back foot as a warrior player, haven't been able to establish any sort of clock here, yeah, things are not looking super good. And makes you wonder, like, did Migana have to go? They spent a lot of resources on dealing with a turn 1 set out of Pain. And especially post-side, when people bring in, like, mind controls and stuff, oftentimes turbo players will know to bait out, or will often start out by trying to bait out set monster interaction with stuff like Sangay, stuff like Sinister Serpent, even stuff like set Tribe Infecting Virus is something you'll see a lot of players do. And so you have to wonder, did Migana need to go to such lengths to answer the turn 1 set monster out of Pain? Because it forced them to use a reinforcement of the army that could have grabbed an aggressive monster. Forced them to get minused because they exiled forced it. It forced them to use their normal summon for the turn to go for that exiled, all to just run into a Sinister Serpent. And, hindsight is 20/20, of course, but there has to be there's probably some percentage of the time that you just let Pain keep that set monster there, and you don't really expend so many resources to answer it, because, okay, if it's a spy, that sucks, right? If it's Magician of Faith, it doesn't really matter. They don't have any spells in the grave at that point. And if they do have a spy, and they have any other monster in the deck, or in their hand, that can bait out interaction, because spy is so advantageous to resolve when you're playing against warrior as the turbo player, they will probably, most of the time, right, unless they're getting super tricky, they will probably most of the time just set something to bait out the interaction so that their spy can then resolve later, right? So Migana kind of really going ham there to answer a potential spy and running into it, what is, most of the time going to be a bait, basically. Unfortunately, was also for them one of the best baits for Pain to have there, because Migana ended up going negative. But if that was a risk, maybe you hold on to your Rhoda, maybe you Rhoda for something else, right? Like a Blade Knight, perhaps. So yeah, kind of unfortunate, and maybe if that first turn was played a little bit different, or the second turn was played a little bit differently, Migana would kind of still have a hold in this game, and they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination just yet. It's just they're very much on the back foot. When your monsters you played so far are Exiled Force and Tsukuyomi, like, you haven't really shown that you have any sort of good aggressive options either. And I just think Pain is in a very good position here from here on out. No back row here out of Pain there to protect their monsters, though, so I could just be completely jumping the gun here, because both of these monsters are kind of sitting ducks. Both pretty weak stats, Breaker with 1,000 defense, Tribe with 1,600 offense, or attack, I should say. Both pretty easily answerable by most monsters in Migana's deck. We'll see if they actually have any to play, though. Okay, so they were able to top deck a Blade Knight, which is pretty solid. It is, for the moment, only a 1,600 attack beater, though. So you really want to answer this Tribe if you can. Oh, and we're going to go Snatch Steal on the Tribe. Okay, so Migana going for broke here, saying, okay, I probably don't have a way of powering up my Blade Knight to beat over this Tribe, so I'm going to have to snatch your Tribe and then deal with the Breaker and start getting in for some damage. Okay, Tribe will kill the Breaker, Blade Knight will get in for 16. And this is a decent play for Migana in a kind of a tough situation. You're still down a few cards here. Pain will start gaining life off of the Snatch Steal. But you at least were able to kind of wrestle back pressure advantage and board advantage, which is where you want to be. And you've established it for literally the first time in this game. So I like the play, but we'll see. I would not be surprised if Pain had some solid answers to this. Yeah, and it looks like we're going to see Chaos Sorcerer slam down, which is a very solid answer to this if it's allowed to resolve. And we're just going to go straight to Battle Phase here as well, not giving Migana credence for any sort of Sakuretsu or Mirror Force action here. It's a little interesting. So we're going to go attack the Sork over the Tribe here as well. You would have I feel like the standard play here would be Sork banish the Blade Knight to get their light banished and not be able to hit the grave. Because now, even if you do clear out this tribe, there's the potential for Migena to go Blade Knight. Oh, well, no, so I guess you need to deal with the tribe. Right, sorry. You don't have the luxury of banishing the Blade Knight because then Migena will just go on their turn, discard something to the tribe to kill the Sork. So you need to deal with the tribe here. Choosing to attack it is a little bit interesting because there is... you're not using Prio, so any sort of quick effect stuff will answer the Sork before you can deal with the tribe. S Ring is gone, so it's not the end of the world. But this also runs into Mirror Force, other Sakuretsu, cards that they have. So a little bit risky here going for the attack over tribe. I think tribe as the target for Sork to, remove from the board is correct. But the way they went about it is a little bit risky. And I don't think, prioritizing 700 damage is really worth it here. Because you're not the beatdown deck in this matchup. But we'll see if this goes through. Yeah, it ends up just being a moot point anyway. So, and you end up min-maxing, you get 700 damage in, you get the tribe in your own grave in case you're running your own resurrection spells, which is unlikely. And now now next turn you're threatening to just banish this Blade Knight with the Sork and prevent Migena from getting access to Chaos. So Migena, there is the potential play, like I was saying, of going Crash Blade Knight into Sork just to get your Light Engrave to turn on BLS, if you have that monster in your hand. We'll see them. Pate's going to set a back row pass with this Sork here, applying massive pressure. Migena, we got MST to clear out that back row. It is a Mirror Force, so nice one to know you don't have to worry about anymore for the rest of this game. Premature Burial here to grab the Exiled Force to pop the Sork is also quite nice. Cool. So, Migena having the answers here, and when the dust settles, their Blade Knight is here to pop the Chaos, or the Blade Knight is here, standing alone, 2000 attack, only monster on the field, full power, and this will really start to clock Pain. 2k damage to the dome, and doing a good job of applying pressure, answering that Sork. Pain now no longer has Chaos available to them. Well, I guess they do have 2 Thunder Dragons in hand, but their hand is TD, Serpent, and an Unknown, right? Which is not the strongest hand. And so Migena here, I think this is your opportunity. If you're going to have anything to happen in this game, you need to apply as much pressure as you can right now before they're able to cash in their Thunder Dragons, Serpents, etc. You have one monster on board, applying pressure. The Serpent can wall you out, though, so you need to find a second threat to clock them. Otherwise, I think Pain is in a good spot. But this is a very pivotal moment in the game, I think. Pain has an Upstart Goblin. Okay, so trying to dig for an answer to this Blade Knight. Gonna discard Thunder Dragon. Okay, yeah. Gonna discard Thunder Dragon to get a Light Engrave, and unfortunately for Migena, they found BLS. BLS will come down, banish that Blade Knight, smartly keeping that light out of grave. Yeah, definitely no reason to get greedy and go for the damage here, because you're just up so many cards, no reason to risk it. And yeah, now BLS here is just completely controlling the board. You have another set monster as well. Could be Serpent, could be not, but either way, it's something scary for Migena to think about. And yeah, I think Pain in a really good spot here. Migena just going to draw a set of back row pass. No monsters to their name. They don't have Premature for Exiled anymore, in being one of their most efficient answers to Chaos. They don't have Chaos Live themselves because their Blade Knight is banished. Yeah, things are looking really, really good here for Pain. See, they draw for turn. Heavy Storm is insane here too. Gonna get rid of any sort of Mirror Force, torrential stuff that Migena might have that would prevent Pain from getting aggressive. They had a Book of Moon and a Dead Trap Dust Shoot, so getting the +1 is pretty nice. But more importantly for Pain, now they have full knowledge that they can start flipping their stuff, attacking in for damage. And we're going to get Flip Summon Gravekeeper Spy. Attack position isn't game unless you have... Oh, is it game with Sinister in hand? Yeah, I think... 24, you have 54... No, so Serpent is not game. That would be 5,700 damage. Oh, but you could go Tribute for Thunder Dragon, and that's game, right? No, that'd be 5,800. So you're very, very close to lethal here. We know the hand is Thunder Dragon, Serpent. So honestly, maybe you just go Spy defense position, right? Why risk it? Because it's not lethal and it doesn't improve your clock. Yeah, so Pain making the right call there. Might as well. Oh no, we're going attack position because we're just going to Tribute for Thunder Dragon anyway. It's not lethal, though. Again, it should drop down to 100, I think. Yeah, they drop down to 100 life points, which is, and then passing with lethal on board. So Migana very much back against the wall. I think if you really wanted to min-max things as Pain, you probably just summon the Spy in defense position, I guess, but really not going to matter. Migana here, let's see. Graceful Charity is a good card. You already used Snatch Steal, though, which is the best answer to this, so you really need to draw into BLS and a Light Monster. That's the only way you get back into this game. So let's see. Show me BLS and a Light Monster. Heavy Storm and Solemn Judgment is not exactly that. I guess Mirror Force could be good as well. So we'll see. There are outs here for Migana. Haiku is interesting. Haiku plus Mirror Force could be kind of cute, I guess. Haiku can beat over the Spy. Okay. Gonna banish Spy and Tribe. Deal 400. I guess you would rather clear out the Spy. I'm thinking about clearing over the Spy or attacking the Thunder Dragon. You probably would rather... I mean, I guess this deals 400 more damage and deals with the Spy in case somehow you get back into this. And then you have to still worry about a defense position Spy in the future, so I guess that's probably fine. I was thinking about ways to, like, make it so they're less likely to have Chaos Live, but they already have a BLS and a Sork used, so probably better to worry about the potential for the Spy walling you out in the future, so I like to play. And it's a little bit more damage here as well if we're min-maxing. And they're going to go set a back row pass, so it really needs to be, like, exactly Mirror Force, otherwise this is game. Pain here. We're just going to go Kaiku, or BLS effect, banish the Kaiku. You probably just turn BLS to defense, attacking with the Thunder Dragon. Yep. Play around Mirror Force. Again, I did draw the Mirror Force off the Graceful here, so Pain smartly playing around it. No reason not to, though, of course. So this will trade for the Thunder Dragon, but you still have not answered that Blackluster Soldier. Pain can set a monster here as well. I guess we know that is Sinister Serpent. Might as well set it. Sure. And then Migana here. Just going to draw back row pass. Okay. Sakuretsu could be good. Although, actually, no, Sakuretsu is not game if it's Sinister, right? You would need exactly Torrential Tribute, and you would need Pain to flip summon the Sinister, right? Because to play around Sakuretsu, Pain could just attack him with both monsters, because even Serpent is lethal here, so... Yeah, you need exactly Torrential, and you need Pain to play into it. So not looking likely for Migana, but we'll see. Pain, yeah, we're going to get flip summon Sinister, so show me the Torrential, or it's GG. Nope. Okay, Sinister's going to attack in for 300. Just attack with the BLS. Might as well, right? Why give your opponent the extra out? But that is just going to be game. It's just a set Solemn Judgment, which you're not going to use to negate the Serpent, because then the BLS will just kill you. And there you go. Pain with a pretty clean 2-0, taken down Migana on Warrior. Pain, of course, playing Chaos Turbo. And yeah, just really able to do what Turbo does best. Outvalue the opponent turn after turn. Slam some Chaos Monsters, control the board, and Migana was able to answer the first Chaos Monster pretty easily with their Exiled Force, but unable to answer the second one, and BLS just completely took over the game here. Similar to Game 1, where Pain, was able to just kind of stabilize relatively early on and then finish off with Chaos Monsters of their own once more. So yeah, good classic Warrior versus Chaos Turbo action here again for you all today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you all next time.